Hello everybody. Today William and I want to show you how you can get yourself familiarized with the trailer loading that is part of every horse's life at some point or another. And before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about the equipment I like to use. William is wearing a dually halter, which has 2 nose bands, which is actually a really nice training tool. Can apply a little bit of pressure with my long line onto the second nose band that goes across his bridge here, across his nose bridge. And nothing forceful, but a nice little bit of a, just gentle massaging pressure that I put on him to let him know what I would like. And then I use a long line. I'll put links for all of this equipment into the description of the video a little bit later. And I have a short to-shield whip. It has just a little tail, and I will use that as sort of as an extension of my arm, and sometimes I might reach around all the way to his tail just to visually and energetically say, hey, come on, back here's where I would like you to come and use yourself and move forward a little bit when I ask. And other than that, we have splint boots on and some bell boots, nothing fancy, but you can, make that more or less however comfortable you are, and your horse as well. There are some shipping boots that you can put on to help the horse get familiar with those, because those are sometimes a little bit scary in the beginning too. And then that's pretty much it. My body language will basically just continue the work that we started just on the ground, and I would advise anybody to just look at one of my videos that talks about the dually halter groundwork. I would do that for a reasonable amount of time so that your horse and you are familiar with, moving forward and backward together and stopping and following and leading and all these different good things. And once you have that in place, even if it's not like super smooth, but just the general foundational part should be in place, then you can go into a situation like this one and say, okay, so now we're going to apply these things that we learned first to a different setting, where we're going to come from just a ground to going onto a ramp, and then into the small confined space of a trailer. In this case, it's just a 3-horse slant load, which is a nice trailer for practicing and for training because it has a nice open wide space. I would always encourage you to either, have one of these or borrow it for your training purposes. It just makes everything so much easier, and the horse is not feeling so claustrophobic, and, you don't have sort of to deal with certain less than advantageous positions or settings for your training purposes, right? So we're going to go and get started. What I usually like to do is show the horse. I walk around the trailer a little bit and let them see, the outside of the trailer and possibly the truck up front. In this case, we've done this already. He's seen it yesterday. It's not the first time that we're doing this, but as usual, it takes several, at least sometimes I always say 3 sessions in a row to not just, show the horse these new things and make them understand that they can also happen, but also to have a sense of letting them sleep over it and process all of this information. And so then I'm going to have him stand here and take a look. Yeah, he has a little itch. That's okay. All right. But I'm just going to stand here and let him, see the interior again. And I always want to make sure that my horse sees the entrance, especially, and the ramp and all of those things out of both sides, so that the information that he can gather, is 3-dimensional. It's not just like this weird boxy thing there. And the more I do that, the more I affirm to him that I understand what his worries might be. So then we're going to go into a little bit of dually halter schooling work, and basically I'm just going to stop him here, change my hands, switch my coils to my right hand and have the lead rope in my left hand, and just gently massage a little bit, have him go backward a little bit, and I'm going to change directions a little bit and have him come to this side. Good boy, saw. Yeah. And so there's a little bit of hesitation there. That's okay. I can feel that there's a little bit of what I call stick legs going through his body right now. He's just a tiny bit concerned about why we're doing all these things out here, and there's a little bit of resistance there. That's okay. I'm going to go and take him this way. Yeah, you'll have to come my way a little bit. And then we're going to go backwards again. So, then we're going to go this way. And I'm just going to say, come on, come. And then I'm going to invite him a little bit give him a tiny little tap with the whip, just to let him know that we're actually meaning business here. And I'm taking him a little bit farther back, just to say, okay, let's come this way. Come here. Come. Yeah. And there it is again, resistance. So I change my angle a little bit. Always think that no eye contact and inviting him with a little bit of pressure on an angle is the right way to invite or to convince a horse to come to you if they don't want to. In his case, I think right now what's happening is that he's just starting to feel a little bit like, I don't know. Are we going to go into that trailer thing again? And we are. That anticipation sometimes blocks a little bit the regularity of the work that we're doing. But I'm just trying to lull him into this back and forth. And we're not going to even stop very long. Just going to say, come this way, a little bit off to an angle again. So then I might just take him around here a little bit. And again, we're getting a little bit closer to the ramp. Backing him up. So, good boy. Making him come to me. So, I would like that to be a little bit smoother. For some reason, it is not today. Sometimes we have had this a lot more in place already, where the backing up is just as well as the coming forward with me. There it is. It's a little bit nicer. And I'm backing up again. And then having him come with me. So you may notice that I have changed my body angle. So that might make him a little bit more comfortable. Backwards, because my shoulders now are parallel to his shoulders. And that may have been it today. I'm not saying every day. So now we're starting to have a little bit more of a synced up body connection, body to body. There you go. Come. Now we're going to go and take maybe a couple of steps onto this ramp. Oh, good. But I'm still saying, let's go back. Oh, good boy. Oh, and I'm going to take him away. So in essence, I'm just trying to tell him, so all of these things are not that different from one another. In essence, we're going forward and a few steps back and then forward again, and it is something with some horses. This will take you a lot longer than you may have planned. With some, it will take you a little shorter. So now I'm going to see if I can get him to come up a little bit farther. Good boy. So this is a place now where he can look and actually take in the trailer visually. And we're hitting this barrier of coming out of the sunlight into the shadow, which is also really important to remember that horses' vision doesn't adjust between light and dark as quickly as humans' vision. So you always have to account for that a little bit. So I'm going to back him up again and say to him, I don't want you to come in here yet. And I'm going to take him a little bit to the side here again. Good boy. I'm just going to stop here for a moment and turn him. Yeah, so. And then I'm going to go again, a little bit forward, a little bit backwards. Good boy, mein Süßer. So. All the way, I never look at him. This is, one of those things. I'm going to take him up to the ramp and back him up again. Back him up, and see if we can get him to go into the trailer a little bit farther this time again. So, good boy. So, again, now we're just standing here. I'm completely relaxed, and so is he, which is a really nice thing to see. And then I'm going to back him up again. I'm still saying to him, I'm the one who tells you when and where and how and what where we're going. I'm in charge of speed and direction, as I am the leader in this little herd of two that we're building. And I'm going to take him around here a little bit. And again, I feel a little bit of the stick legs, a little bit of tension that is underneath all of this fairly mellow looking outside of this horse. So, now, how about that? You want to go a little bit further? Yeah, so he's coming in here and he's looking. Very good, very good. And again, I'm going to just stand here for a moment, pet him. Yes, very good. Let him look around. And if he were any more worried, I might even give him a little treat, but I don't think he needs it right now. He's just comfortable standing here. I pet him a little bit on the forehead, and I don't use my eyes at all. Just breathe quietly myself. And then I'm going to back him up again. I'm going to go back out. So, come. So, my good boy. Yeah. Very slowly. So, exactly. This is something that we always need to work on, that the horse doesn't run backwards, but that we, as the, trusted human, hopefully, that we are in charge of these movements in increments, and they may be very slow, but they're also very safe. And when you get to a point where sometimes you have a situation where there's maybe an emergency or something, it's very important that you can say to your horse, here, 2 steps, and we're going to make 2 more steps, 2 more, 3, 4, okay. And I may even in this phase say to him, come on, back out again, back out a little bit more, yeah, stop, good. And then I'm going to ask him to come forward again. Oop, so, good boy. And, this is what I'm talking about, and being in charge, really in charge of the horse's movements. Every single step is planned and allowed or invited or, and always rewarded with, a little bit of a petting, quiet voice. Another thing that I may do is I'll show that to you in a moment. Here we're going to go back out again, very slowly. Make sure that he's on a good angle. I apply, if any pressure at all, always towards the center of his chest. That makes him go out pretty straight without going on an angle. So, and then we're going to go and say we're going to go all the way in one fell swoop this time. And I'm just going to come and take a little round here. I'm going to go in. Just regular, nice, easy going steps. So, I take him all the way in here. Let him look into the neighboring little stall. You might not be able to see that from out there, but that's what we're doing. And this time, I'm going to let him turn around. So I'm gently letting him figure out step by step to bring his head around. And you see how I'm maybe not be able to see it exactly, but I'm blocking his head so that he doesn't storm out. And now I'm actually looking at his eyes. I'm standing in front of him. He's a bit sideways in this trailer. So I'm looking at him and I'm saying, okay, good boy. I want you just to stand there. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I keep my eyes on his eyes, which means stop or go away. And I'm raising my hand a little bit to make him pay attention. And I'm going to back away from him a little bit and say, you stay there. And while I leave, I keep his attention on me. Very good. Let him stand there for a moment. Then I'm going to take my eyes off and look at his feet. Walk up to him very quietly. Oh, very good boy. So, and now we're going together out of here. Come. So again, and it's all very quiet, really nice, super soft, movements that we're doing here together. Regular breathing, nothing too exciting, and we're going to do it one more time. This time, go all the way in one fell swoop. We're stopping, pet him. I go and let him turn around, but I stand in front of him. Very, very careful. You have to make sure that he does the turning around one step at a time. Again, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the trick. If you let him turn around by himself, you risk that the horse suddenly might storm and even run over you. So that's why it's so important to do this in little increments. And it might not be as smooth with every single horse as it is with us. And as I said, this is not our first day. We did this yesterday. Good boy. So, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm standing here, raising my hand, wiggling the line just a little bit, keeping my eyes on his. Get licking and chewing, a sign of agreement from him. Stand here for a moment, and then I'm going to go up there again to him, take my eyes off of his eyes, look at his feet, position myself next to his shoulder so that when I go out, there's a little bit of an invitation for him to come if he doesn't want to come, which I've had that too. I've had emergency calls coming in saying, you know, we can't get our horse out of our trailer. And all of those things are, and so now I'm just going to go in and out with him a few times. Oh, good boy. Very slow turn. Slow turn. You know, but if the horse is in general familiar with you being in charge of his movements, and I'm doing the same thing again, placing my shoulders next to his shoulders, and look how nice and polite he was. I didn't step my foot down, so he didn't step his either. Take his foot. Now I'm going. Come. So now he has to think about it for a moment. That's okay. If he doesn't want to come, never look at his eyes. Look at his feet and change the direction of the pressure that you're applying to the halter. If you pull him straight out forward, it'll never work. And if you look at him, so we'll do it one more time. Good boy. So. This time I'm going to turn him, and I'm going to see if I can get him to come out right away with me. Yeah, super. So, very nice, right? So that is pretty much as good as I want him to be for today. So, you know, this is obviously something that works differently with different horses. And you might not have it all going quite as smoothly as what we're demonstrating here today, but these are the elements that you can start practicing. And what I would say is, with any new horse, if you haven't experienced a really good result with the halter training on the ground, don't attempt this. When you feel like you can go anywhere and, you know, around a property and any scary objects, your horse is fairly willingly following you everywhere, and you know, halting, stopping, walking, backing up, all those things are in place, then you're ready for this, right? And, you know, like I said, everything isn't happening always in the smooth order and, you know, step by step as you wish. You just do it however far you get. Even if you get, like, on one day, you get just 2 legs on the ramp. Perfect, you know. If you end on a good note, come back the next day and see if you can get all 4 on. And then the next day, again, you know, if it's complicated and difficult, don't drag it out. Don't get loud. Don't use brooms and other heavy equipment that I've seen where people are starting to hit the horses from behind, because now the horses are really starting to just focus backwards and thinking, oh my God, terrible, dangerous things are happening from back there. And to undo that, you know, even if you're thinking, oh, I'm in a rush, I need to get my horse to the vet or the clinic or whatever, that one time where you hit your horse or where you have somebody else, you know, make a loud noise, and all the, you know, people using plastic bags and loud, you know, swinging objects behind them just to scare them in, it anchors into the horse's brain as a scary, not positive event. And everything that comes after that will never be good again. And the more you do it, the more at some point or another you get more resistance, and then the more opportunity for really terrible things that you could just not even foresee, because some of the things that I've heard and seen, you can't imagine the things that happen because people thought, oh, I just do this. No, easy does it. Ultimately, your horse's trust is what will get you and him or her safely to where you need to go. And that's all we need to know. We want to have fun together, but we want to have it in a safe way, and we, never want anybody scared or stressed. Anyway, enough said about all of that. Thank you for watching, and that's it for today. Happy trailer loading. All right.